monthly market report, SlabStox at 1:37 p.m. But we do run a daily news, our daily slab every day for the last 3 years. That's all I gotta say.
Boom.
Luka Nation, episode 700 and either 29 or 30. I'm a little confused on the numbers, but the best sports card podcast in the world, bringing you daily news content and guests. This guest is someone who started in the hobby super, super young. And in a lot of ways, man, is paving his own way. And he was in this before all the hoopla, all the hype. This guy's been grinding on a daily basis for the last 3 years. And there's very few people that you can say have done that. And all the success that's come your way, man, I mean this from the bottom of my heart, is well-deserved. I got to spend a week with you at VCon, one of the most generous, friendliest guys in the hobby. He's even done this amazing thing where he's taught the hobby and NFTs to his dad, which I think is maybe the ultimate achievement.
I didn't teach him the NFTs. He learned that on his own.
Yeah, you don't want credit for that. By the way, did you notice that? Don't say NFTs. I'm a hobby person. You're gonna get me canceled. Boom.
No, I'm serious. He taught himself. I had nothing to do with that. He taught himself. I don't hold anything against anyone that have NFTs or do the NFTs. And my dad's got them and stuff. But like, it was not me at all. It's all him. But I did teach him the hobby though.
And you should be proud of it.
Andrew he's the king of NFTs. He's he taught me all about it. He's an expert. He knows everything there is to know about non-functioning testicles, NFTs. So let's talk about it, my friend. Let's get where we're going. You were purchased by Collectors Universe. Is that the big news?
No,
it wasn't you. They only wanted Nate because he's the handsome one.
Yeah, Nate's gone. That's why he's out west now.
He's out west. Yeah, I saw that. I mean,
I'm kidding. That's not why he moved west. It's for his wife's job. She's a teacher out west now.
There you go.
Can I contextualize this real quick? So there's so much content in the hobby, right? Yeah. There's so many auctions. There's so many listings. There's so much going on. What I think you guys do really, really well is in like the daily slab, you guys consolidate all of that in one page, in one newsletter. So if you guys go to SlabStox.com, you could sign up for their newsletter. And kind of a long time coming, you partnered with 1:37 p.m. and you're going to be having a newsletter under their umbrella. That's the way I saw it from the outside. But I'm curious, Aaron, first off, welcome to the Lucas Tigers and Bronze show. But second, how is that going to work? And what's that newsletter going to look like?
Yeah, so I think this is my third appearance on here now, which is pretty awesome. I don't know what percentage of 730 that is, but it's got to be some percent. So
listen, take a second. If it's 730, that is 365 times 2. That would be exactly 2 years worth of episodes, one per day, which we don't hit 2 years until the 16th. So it means we did a couple bonus episodes, 2 a days there we did in there, but that would be exactly 2 years worth of episodes. So it's pretty monumental to be the guest for that.
Yeah, no, that is a big deal. Hey, congrats on that.
Hey,
congrats on that for sure.
A little math there I did.
But yeah, so for the 137 deal, I say deal, not deal. We're partnering with them each month to release a SlabStox monthly market card report. This is looking at basically all things sports cards. It can be old stuff like vintage. Like we actually had a pretty huge segment on vintage cards in the first one. And by the way, if you want to read it, 137pm.com right now, you can go and read the monthly market report we just put out for June. And then along with that monthly market report that goes out, we'll also be doing a YouTube/podcast video series with Card Talk. So Lou, Tyler, and maybe Ryan is going to be included in some of them too. I mean, we'll be breaking down the report and kind of going back and forth, debating what we wrote about, and maybe they've got different opinions than what we have. And I really do feel like that this specific report that's going out there, like Andrew said, it's been a long time coming. I've known Lou and Gary and Tyler and those guys for over 3 years now, and we finally got to the point to where we are producing something, very formal that's going to go out once a month that you can come and read and learn about. It's kind of like an all-in-one approach to the hobby. There's stuff about sales data, or a lot about sales data. And then you've also got, new releases towards the end of the report and looking ahead to the next month. So each month you can come, read, learn, all that stuff. And we will be also, including a link to the report in our daily newsletter, the Daily Slab that they pointed out, which we have been doing for over 3 years straight now. And it's a great way for people to learn just 3 new things about the hobby daily. Like every single daily slab that goes out, it goes out at 7 a.m. Eastern time. We teach people as much as we can, really. There's always new sales there. There's always new trends. There's always new releases, all this different stuff in there. So it's a good time, and I hope you all enjoy if you do come to read or watch the videos or podcasts as well.
I'm sure there's nobody here who isn't already doing this. A little double negative to start off my fun here, but I was reading the Daily Slab on my commute in the morning before we even had a podcast. I mean, it's a great read. It's a quick read. It's very informative. You guys do a very good job of it. You know, a little nerdy without being too nerdy, which is fine. You know what I mean? You got some data in there. You have to, right? It's got to have some value. But it's also written in a way that, you know, it's entertaining and it's quick and it gives you, you know, a quick hitter. So if anybody's not subscribed to the Daily Slab, you know, I know Aaron's been on a couple of times. We've had the SlabStox guys on a couple of times. You should already be subscribing. But, you know, maybe it's your first week listening to us. Who knows? You know, we pick up. This has been a record. Last 2 weeks have been incredible. So there are people listening now who weren't listening last week, the week before. So, you know, subscribe to these guys. Check out their stuff. Not just the stuff they're doing 137 once a month. I will tell you, part of my come up here, Andrew talks about it all the time, Tatis. I will tell you guys, I watched a video of these two lunatics, Nate and Aaron, talking about the difference between Alonso's cards and Tatis's cards. And what was funny is, at the time, Alonso's cards were high, and people were like, "Wow, can you believe what the price of Alonso's cards are?" What they didn't know was that I had purchased every Alonso card the week before, and took the Alonso price on eBay up myself. But what they said was they were making a lot of sense, and it was, you know, Tatis is awesome. He's going to be so much better. He's so much younger. He's, you know, all these tools, blah, blah, blah. Tatis is too cheap now. So I went out and bought every Tatis. These were the ideas that I had for some of these purchases were from consuming content from these guys. So give them a lot of credit where it's due. I was not into, you know, modern baseball cards or super shiny stuff and whatnot. And they had a lot of good information on there. It's actionable stuff. So thank you.
I want to maybe throw you a curveball, Aaron.
Ooh, nice.
There's so much content in this space. How can you be qualified to put out a market report to thousands and thousands and thousands of people? You know, we're not economists. We're not any of that. How can you guys be qualified to do that?
I'm not. Thank you.
That's a good question. I mean, that's very valid. You know, why should people go and read this and think that it actually has weight to what's happening in the industry? Like, there's no question that I'm sure people either saw tweets from 137 from Card Talk or even us post about it and kind of thought to themselves, wow, is this actually going to be like maybe a standard? And our hope is that someday, yes, it is a standard, that people, you know, are sitting there and waiting at the end of the month saying, I need to read everything that happened over the past month in sports cards from SlabStox on 1:37 p.m. and seeing where the market's heading next month. For us, we think that our quality, our persistence, our dedication day in and day out, you know, multiple, like an obscene amount of hours in a week that we dedicate to writing content, to talking with other collectors, to sharing different things. We think that all that stuff wrapped up over the last 4 years gives us at least the way to have people read it and judge for themselves and make their own opinions on it. Now, we know that not every single take we ever give is, you know, going to work out. And we're not writing this thing to give like advice to people. We're writing it to just give our perspective on how the market's moving and maybe like the steps you can take to either help mitigate risk, help find opportunities where, you know, there's maybe a lack thereof these days. And it's not a specific card. It's not a specific player. It's a theory. It's an idea. And we think that those things combined will give people, you know, confidence in the sports card marketplace moving forward, knowing that there is going to be a place that people can rely on to really go and view where the sports card market is moving. And from there, I will point out too that most of, or not all of this, actually all of the data in the report is powered by Card Ladder's data platform, Card Ladder Pro, which has got over 40 million sales data points in their sales history. They've now got like over 20,000 verified cards that they track on their platform and everything. So
okay, Ms. Vito. So your father is obviously qualified. Your cousins are obviously qualified. But what makes you an expert in the field of automotive mechanics, I think, was the question. I mean, Card Ladder, they've rebuilt the tranny, right? They, you know, I mean, it's clear 137 is qualified. But why you? Why SlabStox? Why is SlabStox? You know, I mean, I'm gonna. Hey, Mr. Trotter, if you want to voir dire, the witness, I'm sure you'll be more than satisfied.
My guy's going in circles, but I think you're basically asking.
No, what he's saying is, he wants you to toot your own horn. He wants you to talk about your own qualifications, not Card Ladder's data, which is amazing, not 137, not the One Piece. What have you been doing for the last 3 years that has brought you here? What makes you the person we should read?
Yeah, I would even take it further than 3 years. I mean, I've been collecting since I was 8 to 10 years old, so that puts it at 12 to 14, depending on what year you put it at. And then from there, I've been basically doing this daily for the past like 8 years. Ever since I was in high school, I've been buying and selling constantly. And I started, going through business classes when I was in college and kind of formulating these ideas for SlabStox through learning about different things out in the world, but knowing that basically all of it can be applied to cards in a little microcosm, right? So because of that, it has been 12 hours a day for the last 4 years of creating over 3,400 different Instagram market reports. An email a day for the past 3.5 years equals over 1,000 different emails on the market and how it's moving. I don't know if you want me to go further than that, but
No, I mean, but it's
and then
important.
on top of that, 650 plus podcasts / YouTube episodes is probably
so
close
it's
to
important,
1,000,
right?
maybe.
Because you know what happens in today's day and age, and Andrew, I'll let you take over and I'll shut up for a second, right? But you know what happens in today's day? Age, people read this and they say, "Well, SlabStox with the 137s with these guys and card ladders with these guys," and like, well, I could do this. I'm important. I'm smart. I can do things. People don't.
I know what that's
realize.
from. I just don't know the movie.
Oh my god! I've thrown out like 11 movies so far in the first 11.
Vito is from Godfather.
Miss Vito.
Vito Corleone.
Oh my god! Yes, that's true. Vito Corleone is from Godfather, and I'm smart. I can do things is also from Godfather. That's Fredo. It's actually Godfather 2.
The reason I asked Aaron the question though is when my first job was Wall Street, and there's portfolio managers and research analysts. And getting to know you over the last 2-3 years, I think if you didn't go sports cards, you would be the research analyst of like a BlackRock, a Goldman. You just have that. Like if you even look behind Aaron, look how just organized everything is. Just very diligent, very organized, very thorough. To me, what I want with a research analyst is to tell me where to look, and I'll draw my own conclusions. One of the things you have on the 1:37 p.m. newsletter from last month is that the card ladder index actually outperformed all other assets, Bitcoin, Ethereum, stocks, all that stuff, right? That's a little counterintuitive when everything's down. It's like the negative numbers, but that's a great as perspective. There's nothing there opinionated that Aaron added in. It's just where he started looking. So could you summarize maybe some other things from the June report for people?
Yeah. I want to talk first on that the chart like right at the top that looks at the card ladder 50 index versus Bitcoin, Ethereum, S&P, Dow Jones, whatever.
I'll pull it up as well for you guys.
Yeah. So I want to speak on this briefly because I saw a tweet reply to Lou that kind of was like, oh, like what's with maybe the word was like infatuation with the S&P 500, because we have done different posts in the past, like looking at different sports card indexes, if it was like mid-end, high-end, low-end, or if it was basketball, baseball, football, whatever, and looking at like different marketplaces or markets out there, like the stock market. I think for a lot of people, or at least for us, when we look at this, you can't really take it as like apples to apples. We all know the differences in the stock market where you can just go on and if you're in trading hours, boom, instantly put in an order and like you basically have your money in your account type of thing. Cards, there's a million different ways to sell them. There's a million different ways to buy them. And everything kind of lags behind because it's not, as real time this up to this second as like the stock market. Now, what it does though, is it at least provides an insight into like what people are doing with like people with Bitcoin. I'm sure a lot of people are way more willing to offload Bitcoin and actually put through a sale order because they know they can go and buy said Bitcoin a year from now if they really need to or want to. There's certain cards in the card ladder 50, some of the vintage cards and other things, and even just cards in the market that people don't want to sell right now, even if they, need the money for something else. They will go and sell that NFT or that Ethereum or that Bitcoin or that stock because you can always just go and find that thing. Like I know that there's like a limited cap on a lot of this stuff, but it's not like that you can easily go find your Patrick Mahomes out of 5 if that's what you really want to find. And that's kind of the theory behind it. I'm not trying to sit here and say that anyone that reads a report should look at that and say, I better sink my $1,000 in the card ladder 50 over the stock market or this or that. It's just a look into how the markets, operate against each other. The next thing I want to point out is that, a lot of this stuff since the beginning of the year or in the last month has dropped in price. I mean, you can't really get around it for any market right now. The economy obviously is in a different state than it was a year ago. Stuff costs way more than it did a year ago, and people need money for different things. But what I will say is that I talked about this extensively in our live stream yesterday, is I really do think that this can create some unique opportunities you might not have had otherwise. And it really just takes hard work and hours and putting in the time and looking at the different marketplaces and looking for the cards that maybe people are selling that aren't the high population cards, but the rare ones. I know that Cage just did something like that 2 to 3 days ago, right? With your Tim Duncan.
Yeah, and it's great. It was up 15,000% according to your newsletter. I'm looking at this. I'm like, oh my god, did I overpay? I mean, like, I buy a card before I tell anyone I buy it. An email comes out and it's like, compare this to this, and this is like the card that is up the most, basically meaning that I overpaid. But then if you peel back the layers, like the last time there was a public sale of this was in, I think it was 2014.
Yeah, it was like 8 years ago.
15,000%. So yeah,
There's only been one Duncan Gold sale since 2014.
No, remember that's public auction
Public.
wise. So you could either find a buy it now in that time, maybe, or you could find a private collector you bought it from. But when you're looking at public sales, like that's what you can reference. That's what you can go off of and see when people are willing to like put it out in the marketplace. So this was the first time in like 8 years. And that's the type of thing, if you buy it right now and maybe other people aren't looking, 8 years down the line, if the economy is in a 3 times better state and people still want to, build those items for the collections, like that's a great card to have. I'm of an all-time great in my opinion. So Cage, kudos to you for going through with it. And also kudos to you for buying the Duncan over the KG. I know the KG's got a big Boston fan base, but man, Duncan's got to be way more accomplished.
I mean, that's personal preference. I was bidding on them both as well as several others. But once the KG went above where the Duncan ended, whoever this KG fan is, they're more of a KG fan than me, and unfortunately, and this, by the way, makes the point that Aaron's trying to make. At that point in time, I had to say to myself, all right, I'll get the next one. But with a card like that, this is finally Andrew's teaching me, the old dog, new tricks here, and the market teaching me, I may have to bid again because I don't know when the next time I will be able to get that card is, if it's one I really, really want. You go through that in your brain. Is it one that I really want? And if so, do I have to keep bidding against this person? Because the last time the Duncan came up for public sale was 2014. If I don't win this Garnett, maybe the next time I see one is 5 years from now. It's very different with like a Ja Silver. You can let that go because next week you'll have 27 more opportunities to get.
Definitely.
Right?
It all has to do with supply that hits the market and the speed it hits the market at. And that's what is ultimately going to drive sports cards for the next 50 years, or even it has been over the last 2 years. Obviously, we're in a time 2 years ago where different stuff was hot for different reasons. But like last night, I bought a Keandre Miller card for my collection. He's a hockey player for the Rangers, if I'm sure maybe some of you know. But I bought a Stature rookie patch auto. It's a red portrait thing, numbered out of 9. And there's only been one other one to sell since the product release. And it sold for like $225 back in May before he had an outstanding playoffs for the Rangers, and they made it to the semifinals. And I basically paid 2 times the price of it last night because the out of 33s, so a less rare copy, went up to like $360. So I paid like $40 more for the out of 9, the better card. And I found it worth it, even though I paid double of what the last one sold for 2 months ago. It's just because rarity drives the market. I'll pay a super good premium on a card I really want for my collection, or one I think is going to grow in value in the next 3 years, if I don't think that they're going to come up very often. I will never, ever pay a premium for something that will come up 3 times a day, 5 times a week, whatever it is. Like, there's just no.
And you get the privilege to, because you've done this for the last 3 years. You have a good pulse on what does come up often and what never sees the light of day. And it's more than just the number, right? It's more than out of 10, out of 5, out of 50. There's also the set that's involved, the player that's involved. I have 2 questions because I want to let you go. First, where do people sign up for this?
Okay. So the first thing you can do is sign up for the Daily Slab at SlabStox.com, as Andrew pointed out really early on. I mean, you type in SlabStox.com. It'll literally tell you right there on the homepage, daily newsletter in your inbox, whatever. Just put in your email, hit sign up. You'll start getting it tomorrow morning. Then the second thing is for the 1:37 p.m. things specifically, that is just going to be on their blog. But if you receive our daily newsletter, the moment this thing gets published, you'll know in our next newsletter that comes up that, hey, it's live. Hit this link, read the full monthly report. And obviously, if you follow us on Instagram at SlabStox, you'll see when that goes live too. So it's all of it's free. All of it's absolutely free. We've been creating free content for years now. And I just think it's a great idea to read it, even if you walk away and say, I disagree with this, I disagree with that. I think the most important thing is to get different perspectives in the hobby. It's for us too. Obviously we publish a lot, but even for myself, to get to see different perspectives matters a lot, which is, why guys like you that do what you do is a great thing also, because I'm sure you all say different things what we say, and then the Card Talk guys say different things than what you all say. So it's just good to have all those different perspectives out there.
Why do you do what you do? You just talked about 12 hours a day, long nights.
Yeah.
You could be making $250K working for a bank doing research. Guarantee it. I've seen this. They need people like you. There's not a ton of people like you out there. Why go this route, not the other?
Because I love it. There's no other reason why. I mean, I obviously there's different small things like, hey, I get to work with my family, but that all attributes to like I love it. I love doing this every single day. I get to do it when I want to and how I want to do it, and now it's a lot of doing. It's a ton, but it's worth the hard work. I get to do something I don't want to call it a job, but I get to do my work in something I've loved since I was a kid. And it's been a part of my life for so long, and I have no plans to go elsewhere. So if you follow us and if you listen to our content and everything, I hope you're ready to listen to my voice for a long time, because
there you go.
We'll be here. And I just got to hire my dad too a month ago. So for the last 4 years, I've been working towards that, and we just did it finally. So
you hired your dad.
Yeah.
Who the fuck brokered that deal? Who was human resources?
Mom. Yeah. No, I mean that's amazing. That's good stuff.
There was some intense negotiation, but we got it done.
That's it. I love it.
3 years, daily newsletter. Now we're gonna have a monthly market report. You started out one person. I'm sure you've grown and learned, and you know, I think a good research analyst has theories, and then he uses data to either support or invalidate those. What's like one or two takeaways that you were like, I'm certain of this 3 years ago, that just as you've gone through it and gained more experience, wisdom, that you've been like, I can't believe I thought that?
Wow. I've never gotten asked that question before. Normally questions I get asked, I could be like, yeah, I answered at one point before.
What to bring to national? But we already have content. What to bring to national? Bring water and a battery charger. We know what to bring.
I have to bring water and a battery charger. Very valuable content. Yeah, the national. You have to bring water and a battery charger. You have to.
Yeah, no, I'm excited about the national.
I don't know what I would have done without that.
Andrew, you'll be at the national, right, Andrew?
Of course, my friend.
Just ducking your question. Ask it again.
We had cigar night Wednesday night, and yesterday we announced it's going to be at the Hard Rock. We got a lounge overlooking the ocean. So people that believed in our ridiculous Tiger project that was like, hey, this is ambitious. We're going to do our best to kind of take care of the people that support us. Now that's turned into 9 months later, free SGC grading, a reward program, and thanks to the generosity of Collectible, a lounge overlooking the ocean with 30 invites.
Drinks, food, cigars, Andrew, corn.
So Wednesday night.
Hey, I got an answer to your question.
Yes, let's hear it.
I knew you would. It's a tough question, but I knew you would because you do this, man. You're a practitioner. Right. You're in it.
Right. And okay, so I'm not going to go for like, oh man, I knew this set was going to be big or whatever. Like I don't want to go that direction. But what the direction I do want to go is that, and you know, we were here, like I was doing this daily and full time, like before Gary started to actually like publicly post things about cards. And that's not like a trying to toot my own horn type of thing, but I was very confident that someday cards will be looked at as not a kid thing, a stupid thing, a thing that if you collect in high school, you're looked at as a weirdo or anything like that, which I always felt when I was younger too. You know, I always kind of felt like that, like I couldn't share the thing I did every day with other people because I thought no one else did it type of deal. And that's why I started SlabStox in a general sense, outside of like, hey, I love, looking at data and sports and cards and talking about, how the data changes. But the real theory behind it was that like, this is what will take this to be something more than just like a kid thing. It'll be the fact that people who have money and love sports can collect these scarce things and trade them with each other that can then either provide more money for whatever they want to do with their family or go and build their collection elsewhere. And that's literally like just the bones of why this is even a thing for me, which is why I'm still here today. And I could say probably within like a year and a half of starting the company, I'd say like I made it in that sense to where like I was like, wow, I feel like that we're at this point where it doesn't matter who you are, what age you are, anything about you, if you can collect cards and it's pretty cool, and if you make money, you're even cooler, I guess. But that was just a joke, the last part. But you know what I'm saying? Like that was what I was very confident when I started, because I never put myself out there before. I was always like, when I was younger in high school, I never was a great public speaker until I probably hit like close to halfway through senior year. Well, I wasn't even great then, but going through college, it definitely helped a lot. And then starting SlabStox has helped me an insane amount. And now I'm just like the most comfortable I've ever been, type of thing. Every day for the last 4 years, it's just been building and building and building and building to this point. And that's why I was so confident about that, played out.
I got one question and we'll let him go, okay? Guys,
Yep.
SlabStox, SlabStox.com. Check him out on 137. Get the Daily Slab, the whole 9 yards. 137, SlabStox combined. They're going to have a spot for you at the National. You're going to be sitting there. This is hypothetical world. Cage's hypothetical world. You have 2 seats for the 137 SlabStox combined group, okay? You're there representing the SlabStox side. Nate is in Washington picking apples and drinking Pinot. So there's 1 seat next to you from the 137 side. Start 1, bench 1, murder 1. Lou, Tyler, and card collector 2. Who's getting the seat? Who's the fill-in? And who doesn't even get the invite? Go. Or tap out and leave the cage in shame.
Do you do this to everyone who comes here?
No, just you.
This is really mean.
It's not that serious.
We love
We do it to everyone, but because it's cards and it's not that serious, it's just fun.
I mean, I didn't ask which one you were going to marry.
I got you.
You don't have to answer. It's okay.
No.
We're having a good time.
I'll answer. I'll answer, but I've got reasons. So
okay, that's what we like. I like answers that are well thought out. It's why you are in the position you're in.
So first off, I want to say I love Lou, I love Tyler, I love Ryan. All of them are great guys. They've helped us out tremendously over the last 3 years, and they've been continuing friendships ever since. And it's awesome. All of them.
We love them too. We love all 3 of you.
I take any of them in that seat. But I will just say for this specific monthly market report, we have worked the closest with Lou and Jason, who produces all the content for Card Talk. And then Tyler, I know, is going to come in and join it and with the different videos and stuff. And Ryan might tap in every now and then because, as we know, Ryan does a million amazing things for the hobby and for the people in Columbus, Ohio. And he's so busy, which is awesome to see. And he's helping so many people that I can get him. He might not even be in the fill-in role, which is where Tyler would come in, and Lou would probably be in the seat because I know Lou's just working once with us. But I will say any of those guys are welcome to be on the show, and I want all of them to be on it at some point, so it does not matter to me. But I just want to give Lou the props for helping us go through with this because Lou's been such a huge help, and Lou really pushed for this, even though that I know we haven't done anything formally up until now. But so yeah, shout out Lou.
Lou's the man. They all are. There was no wrong answer there.
Shumpert I was listening to a cool interview, and I'll let you go. This was how he knew that Clay and Curry were real. Was in 2016 when they were playing each other, that these guys would jaw back and forth. And like from a distance, they thought Clay, Curry, these guys are the nicest guys in the world. But on the court, they would jaw. They would really come after each other. And then after those 48 minutes, they were friends. They're friends. Yeah. I think there's something to that. That like, hey, when we're in the cage match, we could take some shots, knowing that our heart is pure. We don't mean ill will on anybody. It makes life fun. It makes sport fun. It makes creating content fun. So it adds a little flavor. So it really resonated. Slab, Aaron, I think the happiest out of all of this is that you're working with your pops because that's time you'll never get back.
Definitely, I agree. That's why we did it. I mean,
he's awesome too. Like I wouldn't work with everyone's dad. Your dad's awesome though.
Well,
he really has fun. He really. I almost feel like the roles are reversed in a lot of ways. Like I think Aaron is like he's so calm, composed, nothing gets around. And your dad is so eclectic. Like he loves everything. He was running around VCon. He's like, this is so cool. So it's really funny to see that dynamic in real life. I'm sure he's probably coming to national now that he's on the payroll, right?
Oh, he's definitely gonna be. He's at all the other nationals.
He's a cameraman. That's it.
He's gotta be there.
I love. Are you gonna miss Nate?
Nate's coming.
No, but he's moving to Washington. You guys grew up.
Yeah, but Nate's he's lived like 3.5 hours north of me for the past 2 years now. So it's been a while since we've been around each other.
People like us don't realize that Wisconsin is actually like larger than like a couple blocks. We just think there's like a cheese factory, some cows, and Lambeau.
No, it's pretty.
You guys
big.
all live on one block.
No, it's higher. It's higher populated than Minnesota, believe it or not. But I mean, it's so dense in the Twin Cities, obviously, which is more populated than like Milwaukee. But
I'm the biggest Giannis fan. Gage gave himself a concussion for whatever reason. I'm excited for the Bucks next year. We'll have you back on. Aaron, congrats on all the success. It's well earned. I don't know anyone who's harder working behind the scenes and on camera than you, brother. So I wish you all the success in the world.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. It means a lot.
Thank you, man. See you in a couple weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Big Baba Ganoush. Okay, thoughts, opinions, comments, jokes.
No, I'm happy for them. I mean, there are people in the hobby who work. There are people in the, I mean, you know, we went down that fun road where I still can't believe you don't know what movie that was. Me 4 degrees before top dead center. It's a trick question. Why is it a trick question? Because you can't answer it. I'd like to have her excused as a witness. Oh, watch this. You don't even know what movie that's from, dude?
So I've thought about this a lot. The reason I'm not a huge movie guy, except for comedies, is
this was a
because
comedy.
a movie just has like this one rise and fall. It's like the hero's journey, and then it ends. Series is like a book. It has chapters, and I like that more than just like this one. Oh, I see this coming from a mile away.
So here's the problem I have with series. Anything that's good enough after like the second season where everybody is like, wow, this is killer. Sopranos, you know, Game of Thrones, you name it. They know that no matter what they do is going to be great. I talked about this yesterday. I compared it to Panini taking a dump in a box. And then like 3, 4, 5, it doesn't make a difference. And then all of a sudden, with season 6, it's like, oh, we got to end this thing. And they just shove 4 seasons worth of crap into one season, and it's just rushed. A movie, I get a beginning, a middle, and an end. I get it all wrapped up, the character arc. You know, everything's great. So I'm much more of a movie fan, you know, because I don't have to read. Because if the book's any good, they're just making it into a movie. No, so back to the hobby fun. This is cool stuff. It's cool to see, you know, entities like this in the hobby working together. You know, SlabStox has partnered with Card Ladder, you know, from a data perspective, and now you see what happens. They now partner with 137, which is an interesting mix, right? It's a Gary V led entity, right? 137 is a Gary V entity, and even though Gary V is NFTs and might not be, you know, your typical hobby fan favorite right now. And the Card Ladder guys who are data driven, you know, hobby insiders who don't like NFTs and probably don't love that world. Even they, if they were here, I'm sure would admit that it's nice that their name and their data is getting the exposure that it's getting. How Aaron speaks about it in such a favorable way, talks about the 40 million, you know, data points and the whole 9 yards, and that is now going to be trumpeted from the rooftops on 137. You know, so it's a cool way of, you know, old world, new world, hobby world all coming together. So I'm all for it, man. The more stuff like that can happen. We had Marino on yesterday and how Collectible does that and brings everybody in, you know, and not a single ounce of like, wow, I could do that. You know, wow, good for him. Working, that team's been working their butt off. All the success that comes to them, all the success that comes to Card Talk, I mean, everybody. It's all people working for.
You know what I realized? I had an epiphany of shit. The same way that we were worried people are leaving cards for NFTs, I think we're not realizing the opportunity we have that from people who are leaving NFTs and want to get into cards. So by selling on whatnot, you realize like you ever like been to a party or an event and they're like talking about a topic that they know so much more about than you do, and they're on a level that you can't even catch up to. I think oftentimes we do that with the hobby, right? We have this insane community. We've been collecting for years. We're like, oh, that Prism 2012 says OSP and this one's SSP. We all use all these jargon terms. Believe it or not, there are people who are joining the hobby that are like, what the does that even mean? What is grading, right? And I think creating content for that demo that is like on the outside that we could pull them in that's super new is actually is very valuable. It's very
MP, like using all this industry jargon. It's about the MP. I don't know what this MP is. I want to put this down. I want to put this. We have there's magic on it. I want to take it to the music company. I'm going to get a record deal. An MP, UP. Oh no, it's industry jargon. I don't know what you're talking about.
Does anybody in the audience know how Cage's brain works? Because I can't figure it out.
I'm going to get the best. So that first one, I can't believe you don't know movie. I'm going to get so many great DMs. And this one here, that one I just did, industry jargon, MP, UP. Like we're going to take this record. If somebody gets that one, I'm going to be very impressed because that's a little more obscure.
What happens when, we're at 5,000 fans, you know, a few thousand, you know, 4,000 listens every day. What happens
Cardboard Underground will get it.
Or 20,000 and they don't understand what the fuck these movie quotes are?
They will understand.
Or they're intellectuals. Like, how are you going to be able to...
This is the cool part about doing an episode a day and almost an hour a day. If I sneak in 3 or 4 minutes worth of movie quotes, which is all it winds up being, then there's 50 minutes of other
3
stuff.
or 4 minutes?
Yeah. I mean, we can talk about paraphernalia for the same amount of time if you like. We talk about weed. Everybody knows about the grape game. I mean, we got all kinds of fun stuff, man. I mean, we can't just talk about what cards sold for what. You got to mix in some fun, man. And you're right.
There
are probably a lot of folks who don't get the movie stuff, but there are people who do, and there are probably a lot of folks out there who don't, do 75 hard. They are probably the same ones that like my movie quotes because they're sitting on the couch watching movies instead of getting up and exercising. That is what it is.
Holmgren.
Yeah, he's not KD.
Boom, bust, thoughts.
I mean, if here's the thing. If his Prism cards were out after he had 18 points and 4 rebounds in his first 12 minutes of a G League game last night or Summer League game, whatever the hell it was, everybody was buying his Prism cards. But here's the problem. You can't even get Cade Cunningham Prism cards yet for a couple of days. So, I mean...
It would have been the Bull effect after last night.
It would have been, oh my God, everybody go buy the cards. I mean, the Panini Instant or, Tops Now or whatever the heck is going to be, made now. Bowman University, whatever's going to come out. Buy it. He's the next Pete Maravich, only, mixed with Michael Jordan and LeBron James. He's awesome. Mac Jones.
It's our overreaction culture is it's very interesting. First off, you guys watch Summer League? Those guys look terrible compared to NBA players.
Well, it's like when you watch it's like when you watch college basketball. You hate it. You're like, this game is terrible. This is ugly. You say it. You're like, I can't watch this.
When you watch the Warriors in the finals a few weeks ago, and you watch those Celtics, you're like, these teams, they move off the ball. They're so crafty. They're so skilled that you go to this, and you're like, what is happening? This looks like just a bunch of kids at recess.
Yeah. I mean, listen, Holmgren could be very, very good, man. I mean, I'll give him something. He has an inner Tyler Hero that can work to his advantage or his disadvantage. Right? I like the kids that are confident. That's part of the reason they get to where they are. It's part of the reason they have the success. You have to have that ego. You have to say, I'm the best out there. I'm going to be great. Otherwise, you're never going to get to the level that you're at. But eventually, once you get to the highest level, you can't be a dick about it because then you are Tyler Hero and everyone's going to hate you, even with an awesome Lloyd Christmas haircut.
And if you're built like 7'1", 180 pounds, there's some big boys. Like, there's some big boys in the NBA that are watching this and are like, who the fuck is this kid? I'm going to see you. They circle the date. They're like, I'm going to see you.
I mean, I give him credit because, most of the other rookies, the NBA vets, don't care about seeing. They're just another rookie. So give him credit. He's putting a target on himself. But what he does with that target is going to be, what makes the difference. That's what makes these generational talents, right? LeBron didn't do it by talking smack as a rookie. He did it because he was the anointed one. Like, he was the second coming. He was on Sports Illustrated covers. When he was in high school, everybody watched his high school games. You know what I mean? So when he came in the league, he had a target on, and he had to live with that. Some of these guys are putting the targets on themselves. How you respond to that could make you what some people think he is.
What frustrates me is he was on a team that was stacked, and they didn't even win the championship. And then I looked at his numbers, and I'm like, because you hear the Durant comparisons, and I'm like, if he didn't even dominate in college, he was averaging 14.5 points a game, 10 rebounds, 1.5 blocks. Like, Durant in college averaged 12 rebounds and 25 points per game. The guy was a machine even in college, so it's not like, I'm going to get to the pros, I'm going to turn up because I have more shots. These comparisons are a little ahead of.
Durant went to Texas. There were some decent guys on his team, but not a perennial basketball powerhouse like Gonzaga is. Not the same kind of system. It's a different comparison, but I understand exactly what you're saying. And look, that's what makes it exciting, right? I mean, let's see what happens when he goes out there. Let's see how he does. That's the key, right? That's, and look, there are other people out there who are going to just go about their business. They're going to keep their mouth shut, and they're going to go out their business, and they're going to score 14, 15 points as a rookie, and no one's going to care. This guy's going to talk smack and maybe score 16, 17 points and not be that much better than the other rookie, but everyone's gonna be like, look what he's doing. I mean, he's
Okay.
talking that talk and he's backing it up, and then people will go. It's I can't invest in any of these guys because we're not going to have this year's rookie class prism until 2028. But if it was something, he'd be the guy I invest in because I think he has the upside. He's got to back up his smack because he could also have some significant downside if he doesn't.
Right. Okay. What else? What else? You watching Wimbledon at all? Probably no.
Not really. I mean, didn't your boy Alcatraz? Didn't he fail to escape one of the rounds? Escaped Alcatraz.
He did. Wow, Nadal's down the set. This is gonna be a fun day. The thing is, dude, and Nadal had these same issues. Clay court players struggle on grass, especially early in their career. Completely different surface, and the ball moves different. Like in clay, you could get around the ball and a lot of core, a lot of rip, a lot of rotations per minute. Grass, the ball gets on you really fast, and it's tough for a young guy. I think he's 18, 19 years old to adjust from a clay court season to go right into grass court. And it's not like he wasn't successful. I think he third, fourth round. I don't remember when he lost.
I remember when Nadal started winning the majors that weren't the French Open, and you're
That's a
like,
big deal.
oh, okay, all right, because he was just the guy who was just going to win on clay for the first couple of years that he burst onto the scene. So maybe that'll be the same kind of path this guy, travels. The grass is tough. The grass, especially Wimbledon grass, it is a different surface from round 1 to round 4. Also, because the grass just gets beat up. I mean, look what it looks like. Like you can even just see it yourself. Take a look at pictures from the opening day. Take a look at like before they start off, and look how lush and how green and how great it looks. And look, I mean, and they're trying to upkeep the whole deal. Take a look at what it looks like now. I mean, it gets beat up, man.
I really want to see Djokovic versus Nadal, man. On grass, that's the final. I think Kyrgios is amazing for tennis. I think having a heel is so important. I think they overreact a little bit with their claims of because he serves underhand. This is quote, disrespect the game, disrespect the opponent, disrespect humanity. They backpedaled on the humanity comment, but
unwritten rules. I mean,
pump the brakes, man. It's not that big a deal, and you need that. But a Djokovic versus Nadal final would be, it would be amazing. It would be amazing. I really want to see that this Sunday.
Well, how many more majors does Nadal have than Djokovic?
There's an article that he almost retired because he was getting foot injections. So it's tough, man. I don't know. To me, he looks the best he's ever been.
All right. Well, listen. I mean that. When we get to tennis. I should be telling you, I mean, at least it's sports. I mean, movie quotes have nothing to do with anything, but, there are cards for most of the movies that I quote, just like there are cards for tennis. But yeah, I would think that, people are going to get a little bored from tennis, just like they get bored with my movie quotes.
Dude, tennis is the closest comp. Tennis reminds me of boxing, how every round could be different. And there's these momentum swings. I know you're not punching people in the face, but tennis has that mental aspect of boxing to me.
If they had people standing really close to the ring and every once in a while a spectator or somebody working the fight got a stray jab, that would be the same. Like the ball boys, they just take one in the noggin. Oh my God, dude, it was a tennis ball into the head. Then it would be that would be a cool addition to boxing.
Djokovic got kicked out of the U.S. Open because he hit a girl in the head with a tennis ball. Yeah. I thought that was one of the most ridiculous. He accidentally hit a girl with a tennis ball, and they banned him.
I mean, look, don't hit a girl with a tennis ball. I mean, I got taught that pretty early on. You try not to.
Did you guys ever play at recess, two sides and just peg tennis balls at each other, like kind of dodgeball but with tennis balls? One time I got hit right in the eye. I didn't see it coming. It hurt so bad. I had to go to the eye doctor.
Jesus Christ, this guy.
And then wall ball. It was wall ball that turned into dodgeball is what happened.
This guy.
But wall ball was fun. Wall ball was really fun.
Yeah, but I mean, listen, you can't do that stuff now. I showed up at my kid's school the other day. They're playing dodgeball, and it was the ball was just squishy, soft, and I'm like, what the heck is this thing? You can't even get any good velocity.
You throw it and it just floats in the air.
Yeah, it's like a cloud. It's like pillows. It's ooh, hello. Please don't hurt yourself. child. I mean, listen, it is what it is. I got to tell you, man, I'm getting real excited for National. We are, I guess, 3 weeks from now, we'll probably be setting up for cigars. I mean, I'm excited. I definitely am. To get down there, do some stuff. I know a lot of people are doing some selling. I will say this, right? Because we give a lot of credit in the whole deal. Maybe we'll take it home with this. I gotta give Whatnot a lot of credit for what you're able to do on there, and not just like selling, buying the whole deal. What the app is with the the social selling and the whole deal. What Andrew was trying to say before, and what I'm gonna take a step further is a great learning tool. Even if you go on Andrew's live, go on anybody else's live, go on some breaks, you name it. You get a pulse for the market. You get to see what's selling, what's not selling, what people are asking for. As a seller, it's a really great tool. I mean, Andrew has talked to you guys now for the last couple of months about what he's buying on the PWCC weekly auction. Those purchases have been refined based on what happens in this social selling app or Whatnot. Because he'll try to sell something, and you'll get comments like, "We don't want that. Do you have any this, and this? Do you have any this, and this? Do you have any Jeter? Do you have any Griffey? Do you have any Trout? Do you have any Jordan? Do you have any this?" And, you see those comments enough, and then you sell some of those. You see what they sell for by comparison, what sells well, giveaways, just the kind of the back and forth, getting people involved. It really is, I believe, one of the next evolutions of selling in general, but I think of the hobby that combined commerce and social. I think it's a really cool thing that they've tapped into, and I love watching your show every day, man.
Do you have Burrow? Do you have Herbert? Get a pulse. Do you have Trey? Do you have Garland? How many times do people ask for Trey versus Garland? Wait, but Trey's prices are more than Garland, but Garland has more demand. That's interesting. You get to see that play out, right? And not in one episode, but in 2-3 weeks, you'll get a pulse. Love it. You guys, 5 to 6 p.m. on Whatnot every single day. Stop asking me. It's every day. I'm going to be there the same way like this. And I take requests. So people that have bought from me previously, they say, "Hey, can you get this for us, this for us, this for us?" For sure. For sure. Any final words before we wrap?
No, I'm excited. I am excited. Let's go Yankees over the Red Sox this weekend. Big series, man. Big series. I'm going to a Met game on Saturday. I'm going to go see a Met game. Keith Hernandez's jersey number is being retired. So, for work, we got invited to go. Yeah, I think it's like a midday game. So it should be fun. We put on some Met clothes for the kids and whatnot and go see a Met game. That should be interesting. Haven't been to a Met game in a while. A couple years. Take care, everybody.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com, or my cell phone number 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luka Nation.